Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Psych Legal Pop podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. And I'm the therapist, Tess Brigham.
Hello, I'm Brooke Brigham, and I'm an attorney.
So you're like, wait, what? This is a Monday, not a Thursday. What's happening?
Going on?
So as we mentioned last time, the most popular episodes we do are about sister wives, and we obsessively talk and think about this damn show way too much. I'm a little ashamed.
Every day.
But so what we thought was we are going to, today, talk about the Tell-All Part 1, just that one episode, and trying to cram in 4 or 5 episodes all into one. Next week, which will be we're going to have our usual episode up on Thursday, which is the 22nd, that we're doing God Forbid, the Jerry Falwell Jr. Sex scandal. That's real good. Next Monday, which will be the 26th, we're going to have a very special Christmas bonus episode.
Yes.
And then we'll have our regular episode back up again. That would be the 29th. And then we're going to try to do these 2 episodes a week for a little while we're getting through the tell-all for Sister Wives and just see how it goes. We're going to play it by ear.
Yes. But we'll definitely do the tell-all, the last 2 tell-alls, or one-on-ones, as they're calling them, the first 2 weeks of January.
Yes. So that's all the housekeeping stuff. So let's dig in. So this is Tell-All Part 1. And this is very different because, normally they do these reunions where they're all together. And I also don't know who this woman, who's Sonia?
Sukanya.
What is her name?
Oh, God.
Sukanya.
Sukanya Krishnan.
I've never heard of her before. And I love, and now I'm blanking on her name.
Was it Sean Robinson? No. Who did them before?
Oh my God, people are probably like pulling their hair out.
Yeah.
Tamron Hall. I really like Tamron Hall a lot. I think she's excellent. I watched some of her other shows that she does. She's excellent at what she does. So I was kind of sad not to see Tamron.
Well, they changed it up a bit because last year Sukanya hosted as well.
Okay.
That was the first year, because that was the first year they did singles.
Because of COVID.
COVID, and because the family was starting to break up. I mean, that was last year. Christine was already saying she wasn't using, the D word yet, but she was saying, or maybe she did. Maybe she did say she was gonna. I'm not really sure, but anyway, it was fractured enough because of COVID and whatever. They couldn't all record together. Mm-hmm. But prior to that, they would do these things, end of season things all together. But things have changed.
Okay.
So I think Sukanya, to answer your question,
I thought she did an excellent job.
Yeah,
I think she did very well.
I think she's
like Tamron Hall.
Like a news reporter. Or, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out and report back.
Okay.
But I like her. I
Yes.
thought she did a good job.
All right. Well, first, I feel like we need to start with the outfits.
Yes.
I really want to start with Cody's outfit.
Yes.
What was that?
It was awful.
It was so weird. So weird.
Like,
So
when
weird.
was the last time you saw a straight man in a 3-piece suit?
A long time, yes. Well, so what was so weird about it is the pants were a little tight.
The whole thing was tight.
Yeah. The jacket was tight, but yet the vest was loose. I mean, I can't even begin to explain it to you. It was so weird. Like, why, for that kind of interview, why would you do a 3-piece suit? I mean, that seems
With a
bizarre.
hot pink
With a
dress
hot
shirt.
pink- yeah, I was
and
writing
I think
down,
of
I'm
like a
like-
blue tie or...
Yeah, it was, but it was in the color of the suit, I don't know what.
Yeah,
color
it was a bad color.
It was just
So bad.
awful
All
And
around.
it seemed so weird. And I think this is one of the funniest things about the show is any other person who's been on a reality show for 17
Right.
years or 17 seasons, I
Right.
should say, they would be Botox, they would be glammed up.
Yeah, they
would
get their
be done.
teeth fixed.
Yeah, they're doing plastic surgery. They're doing the glow up. And
Yeah.
these people, the only person who did a glow up was Christine. She
Yeah.
looked fabulous.
And it's her kind of her, the glow up is because she's happy. And Janelle too. Like Janelle looked really pretty, I
Yes.
thought, in this
In the black,
one-on-one because she was glowing because she's left him too.
Yeah.
And, and also it didn't fit because every other time we see Cody, he's in a plaid flannel
Yeah.
shirt or whatever he
just
wears.
seems so odd.
And then he shows up in a 3-piece suit.
Yeah, with this magenta bright and it all looked polyester. And yeah, I thought Christine looked great in her faux leather pants.
Yes, yeah.
And those faux
the
leather
pink,
pants,
that's
and the
a
pink
good color for
flowery,
her.
Great color for her. I thought Janelle looked great. I like it when she wears color, but I do like the black. But you're right. I mean,
Her hair looked really
they
like,
look the best.
pretty. Yeah.
Maybe it's the plexus.
Maybe we need to get us
I
some.
know. I feel like I need to
some
get on this plexus because apparently it's supposed to be great.
And Robin just looks like Robin.
Yeah,
you
Robin
know,
and
so
Mary
plain.
is Mary.
Yeah, like
whatever.
nothing.
Nothing exciting.
And yeah, and Mary also too. Like it doesn't matter what the venue is or what's happening. She always wears jeans.
Jeans, a t-shirt, and some kind of jacket. Like a
jacket.
motorcycle jacket or a bomber jacket or,
And Robin always wears like a kind of blousey, loose, flowery, blousey blouse with like a sort of a cardigan type sweater.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what kind of pants she's wearing, like black pants.
Well, yeah, and because they have to be modest, everything kind of limited in terms of choices. But anyway.
Well, and I wanted to comment on when Cody first walked in, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Sukanya, how are you? How's it going?" And of course, he comes in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
His energy is just like all, and you could see him. He was trying to hug her because he put his arms out like he was going for a hug, and she saw that coming, and she very adeptly, like, put her hand out to shake his hand, her right hand.
I did not get that.
To shake his right hand, and then she took her other hand and like intercepted the other hand and kind of like put the hands together, did a handshake, and he got the message, oh, she doesn't want to be hugged.
Okay.
Because I thought that was very strange.
That he wanted to hug her?
That he wanted to hug her.
Oh, okay.
Or that he thought they were, first of all,
On an intro hug basis?
they don't have a kind of relationship where he's going to come in and hug her. And I just thought it was typical Cody, just like no boundaries.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then it happened again later when he was saying something about one of the wives, and he reaches out and he puts his hand on her leg, and it startled her. And he was saying, yeah, I was talking to my wives and I said, it was very odd why he felt he had the need to touch her or was allowed to touch her or could touch her. But again, she was startled, and she kind of took her hand and kind of put it on his and maybe kind of scooted it off a little.
Weird. I missed all of that.
Yeah, it really bothered me because I just felt it was very presumptuous. But anyway,
Interesting.
Just wanted
so you're not someone who wants anyone to, greet them with a hug? A hug hello?
You know what? I want to say something. I'm going to go off on a tangent here.
Sometimes I hug new people hello. And I need to stop, apparently.
Oh,
Only women. Only women.
Well, when people come up to me and they say, I'm a hugger.
Oh.
People I've never met before.
Okay. I don't do that.
People I've never met before. I've had this happen several times. Meeting them for the first time, I'm a hugger. Oh, okay. And then, yeah, there's a lot of situations where people just want to hug you, or they just do it. They don't even read the room, or and we're not that close. And it's like, I feel like with men and women, I feel like if a woman wants to hug you, you wait for her to make the gesture. I don't think men should just be
No, and I think a lot of men understand that. I've heard this from men, that they sort of take their cues from other women. But it is interesting being a woman, right, where I see men, they will shake hands. Like my husband and my father have shaken hands for 20 plus years, never touched each other. But there's such this thing of like, if it was me, I would be hugging him. I would have to hug one of the two of them. So it is true. Women, we do want us to be instantly more intimate in that way. Men can shake hands with each other and that's fine.
Right. There's a zero expectation that men would hug.
Yes.
But there seems like there's an expectation that a woman is fine with hugging under all circumstances. Anyway, that's...
So then we get to see the pre-interview where each person, you know, the four wives and Cody each do a pre-interview where they each film themselves and talk about what's going to happen. And what did Mary say? This is more raw, more real when they do these one-on-ones. And then Cody sits down and they just jump right into it. We're going to talk about Cody and Christine. And we just get right into it. And we first hear from Cody. What I was fascinated by the entire time I'm watching the show, I'm like, I wonder what order they did these in. Right? Because obviously she would talk to Christine and say, well, no, Mary said this or Cody said this to Christine. And they did that with Mary as well. And then, right, they asked Robin at one point, Robin, what would you want to say to Christine? And then they told that to Christine. So I'm like, this is so fascinating. I'm like, how did they do this? Did they do a bunch in the morning and then do a bunch in the afternoon? Because they're all wearing the same outfits, obviously.
Yeah.
So
it was pretty well edited.
It was very well edited together.
Elicit as much stuff from them as they could.
So that made me wonder. I'm like, I wonder if they're multiple.
I think
things.
It
they're
would have
round
to be.
robin almost.
It would have to be. They bring someone in, they ask them some questions, and they're like, okay, you go wait over there, and then they'll bring someone else and they confront them with what that person just says, and they just kind of keep doing that back and forth. Yeah.
So in the first segment, there's a lot of like, we're actually spending a lot of time watching this first clip that was in the first episode of the season where Christine and Cody are together, and it's obviously being filmed by them. And they're saying she's saying to him, I'm done. I, want to be out. And why are you holding on to me? And all of that. And that's where Cody tells Sue, what is it?
Gosh, why can't I get the... Sukanya, I believe.
Sukanya. So that's when Cody says to Sukanya, Christine, she just completely decided, that's it. We're done. That's just how it is. And essentially I think Cody's line is, he was turned off by her not because of her looks, but because of her behavior. And specifically her behavior towards her sister wives, essentially.
Right. And then they confront Christine with that. And then she gets upset and she says, I'm not a child. Don't talk about my behavior. And maybe some of her sister wives weren't very nice to her. Mainly Mary. This is another thing.
Everyone knows Mary's the main one.
Everyone's dancing around this. This is, again, another situation where they won't just come out and say who did it and what's happening and what's up. We all know that Mary has been a bitch since day one. And Mary's even admitted it a few times, not like admitting she was a bitch, but she has said several times throughout the years, I, may have not been as nice as I could, or, and it's just so obvious. And in that book that they wrote together, Janelle talks pretty honestly about when she moved in. Mary made her feel not welcome, was mean to her, said things about her. And then Christine said later in this tell-all that she chose to end the friendship with Mary because Mary had said bad things about her in front of the family.
Yes.
It's clear Mary was awful.
Yes. She is not a nice person. I don't think she's a very nice person.
No.
I think that when Robin showed up, Mary either is in love with her, which I totally believe that Mary's in love with Robin, has always been in love with her, but that Mary was nice to Robin. And I'm sure for Janelle and Christine, they're probably pissed, right, to see how nice she was. But I think one of the things that Christine said that I thought was so telling was she had to remove herself from the relationship with Mary because it didn't feel safe and because you didn't know what you were going to get. And we have people like this.
Sounds familiar.
Yes, we have people in our lives too, where you don't know what you're going to get from day to day. And essentially, it does create a tremendous amount of anxiety.
Yeah.
Every time you see them, you're kind of like, what am I going to get? What is this? Do you hate me? Do you love me? Do you think I'm a horrible, terrible person? Or am I the greatest thing that walked on earth? And quite frankly, raising children with that person would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I don't blame Christine at all.
Yeah. And remember how they talked about how Mary wouldn't let them because her apartment was in the middle in Lehigh and they were on either end, and they could get from one person's, Christine and Janelle could get to each other's apartments, houses, whatever you want to call them, by going through Mary's. Otherwise, they'd have to go outside, down some stairs, in the thing with little kids, because they were taking care of each other's kids. So the kids are constantly going back and forth. And Mary wouldn't let them just walk through her place, even when she wasn't there.
Yeah.
I can understand if she's home or you put some boundaries around that and say, oh, only during these hours and these hours, like I just want to. But yeah, you guys are supposed to be sister wives. You're supposed to be helping each other and supporting each other. And I know it's inconvenience and a pain in the ass, but my God, like these women, they're helping take care of your kid too, I'm sure. And they're bringing in money into the family and everything else. So
Mary.
You
could have, because I think Mary's worked a lot, but I don't think Mary's ever had a job that paid beyond minimum wage. I don't want to be rude, but I think it's very much Janelle and Cody are the ones really, and Janelle, I think Janelle was earning the largest paycheck that was the most steady.
Right.
I think that's...
Well, we found out Christine was working nights.
Yeah.
For some period of time.
So we get back into this idea of, we talk about what brought the two of them, what brought Christine and Cody together. And Cody very much says to her, I married you not under romantic circumstances. And she responds right away and says, but I did. And I always, because when when you think about the book, she always loved Cody. She's always loved Cody. I think she's always been in love with him. I think she's always had a crush on him. I think
for years before they even got married.
To him.
Yeah.
And I really, and he is basically saying, I picked you because you were easy and I could just shove you in because I got these two women that are at each other's throats. Right. So I'm just going to bring you in. But his whole thing is he's now jumping back because he's now saying, well, I'm not attracted to you because of the way in which you treated the other sister wives, which basically I just wrote down, not attracted equals not loyal. I mean, that's essentially what he was saying.
Right. But what did Christine do to, I guess the only sister wife that I don't know who he's talking about. I wish they would just name names. It would just be so much easier because we know he's accused her of not being nice to Robin. He can't say she wasn't nice to Janelle. So now he's saying that, she wasn't nice to Mary?
No,
it
is Robin.
That? Who believes that?
Yeah, but it is Robin. That's who she's not nice to.
Right.
She was not not nice enough. I think this is the part that is really important, is who's to say what is nice enough.
Right.
Right? I mean, here we go. Here we have 5 people. And if you ask these 5 people, what does it mean to be nice enough to someone or welcoming to someone? They're going to have 5 different answers. And that's the problem, is somehow along the way, because we're all watching the show. Quite frankly, Christine has been nice to Robin this entire time. I've yet to see Christine be mean to anybody, quite frankly. Never seen her be mean to Robin. I've seen that, you know, I think it's a normal thing to warm up to someone, a new person. So I don't think she was jumping up for joy when she showed up. She was very vocal and honest about how she didn't really want another wife. Like, Christine has been sharing her feelings the entire time with everybody. Like, we all see it. And I'm sorry, but, you know, I'm sorry that wasn't nice enough, but you cannot tell her she wasn't nice.
Right. And
it's not fair.
I feel like Robin is the type of person who is never satisfied. Like, what did she want from her? Exactly. You weren't nice enough. I mean, wow. What does that mean? Like, you know what? It's not her job to be nice enough to Robin.
Yeah.
She needs to be pleasant, and she needs to be respectful. But, you know, and they don't have to be best friends. They don't have to be the whole sister wives things. It's not about having a bestie. The way it was set up originally in these religions was because these religions believed that they needed to have all these children. And so to do that, these women needed to work together.
Yeah.
They're
co-workers.
Co-workers, exactly.
They're colleagues and co-workers.
They are co-workers. You need to treat them with the level of respect of a co-worker. And guess what? If you like them beyond that, that's a bonus. Good for you. And I think Robin is just upset that they weren't besties.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
Well, so then in this section, Cody brings up, while he's talking to Christine in the original episode 1, he says to her, he starts comparing their relationship to his relationship with Mary. And Christine says, I don't want the relationship you have with Mary. Because basically,
he says, well, it's better than my relationship with Mary.
So, and she's saying, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. And then we see Mary, and Mary's like, well, no, he shouldn't be comparing our relationships at all. And then Christine, who's speaking the truth now, is like, then if you want to compare relationships, why don't you compare it to Robin?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that comes back to this whole idea that Christine's always felt like you've given me the scraps. You know, I was the basement wife. Right. I was, you know, you've given me scraps and I don't want scraps anymore. So we're back to Cody, and Cody says, well, you know, Sukanya, this has been 4 years of context. Let me tell you what's going on here. Let me mansplain to you for a while, Sukanya, about this show that we've all been watching together. He feels like she was playing games. Ooh. And Sukanya's like, huh? You lunatic.
Like, yeah, she says, why? because she's a game player.
Yeah. So what he said is she would manipulate, temper tantrums, and pouting. Okay. Wow. Have we yet to see her manipulate anybody? Have any temper in the 17 seasons of the show, and I'm only up to season 8 or 9 on my end, but I have yet to see this woman ever have a temper tantrum, a pout, or manipulation. But I have seen Robin pout about a wet bar.
You mean Mary?
Mary, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've seen Mary pout about wet bars, about so many things.
So many things. Not having enough kids, so therefore she deserves to have a 7-bedroom house.
Yeah,
and
because
a wet
because she wanted 7 children, so therefore she should have a house.
She should pretend like she has 7 children.
Yeah. And then make them more into debt. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing it was just like, wow, that was. So his whole thing was, her game playing was that when they moved to Flagstaff, he tells this story, Mary gives Cody a gift for their anniversary, and Cody went back to Janelle, Robin, and Christine and was telling them about the gift and how
the special Rice Krispie treats.
Yes.
Those must have been a hell of a Rice Krispie treat.
We learn about the Rice Krispies later, but basically he goes back and tells the other 3 wives about what this great, amazing gift he got from Mary. And apparently, according to Cody, Christine lost her shit. She was yelling at the kids. There was a family event that she went to the family event, stormed out, left early, complaining and yelling to the kids that she's in a loveless marriage.
See, now that sounds completely out of character for Christine. Everything that we've seen, a lot of footage of this woman. This woman she's sacrificed so much. She's gone along with so much. She's the life of blood of the family. She's the only one who has a pulse. Mm-hmm. You know, she's the only one who's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and apparently, I can't even understand my notes here. Something about like, then this gets into the whole Christine thing with Mary. About 2 years before they left Utah, there was an issue. The issue started, I guess, with Mary and Christine. And so this is what Cody says, is that he feels like he's mad because this is why I think he thinks, or his new narrative is about manipulation and game playing, is this. I think that Mary doesn't speak up as much, but I think Mary's very controlling. I think Janelle, I wrote this down. Hold on a second. Okay. So when Robin came in, she took away his time and attention. Mm-hmm. Mary didn't complain because she only really has one kid and she didn't need as much time and attention. And she really liked Robin.
Right.
And she really liked this dynamic. Janelle didn't complain because, quite frankly, Janelle was working really hard, but that's her personality. And I think what happened was that Christine was the one that was like, oh my God, you're not here as much. Like, we went from seeing each other every 3 days to every 4 days. Oh, wait, hold on a second.
And she has a newborn baby.
So think about it this way. Think about if your boss went to you and said, yeah, you're going to start doing, we're going to take someone away from your team, you know, and now your workload, which is already, you know, you feel like is beyond what you can do. Now they're telling you, I'm going to add on 25% more. That's essentially what was happening.
And even more than that, because you know that he was spending, even on the days when he was supposed to be at Christine's house,
he's courting Robin.
He's going over to Robin's, even before and after they were married. Like he's going over to Robin's and basically hanging out there all day, and then shows up at Christine's house, you know, late at night, and then goes to bed.
And I think that what he saw was her quote unquote temper tantrums, right? The game playing, the pouting.
Like, where are you?
Where are you? I need help. Janelle's working. Mary won't do anything.
I have 6 children here. Where are you? I mean, geez.
And she was pregnant too. She was pregnant for part of it. Remember? I mean, so she's just so he's created this narrative in his mind that this is who she is. She's the pouty one. It's like, well, no, of the 3 personalities, she's the one that this is how she exhibits it. But that bugged me because, he got really upset with her for constantly comparing. Because I think when they would fight over the years, I think she would compare basically how much time and energy he's putting into Robin, how much time and energy he's putting into other things, the affection.
Right.
And so it's just so interesting now, right? Which is, okay, you want to compare. You know, this whole time Cody's been telling her, don't compare. And now he's comparing her.
Right.
You know? Anyway, he said something like, she's the poison. I was just like, my God. But Mary got upset that Cody brought her up, and Mary finally admits, you know, she's hurt. She's hurt about all of this.
And didn't she also, and then Sukanya confronts her with that clip of Cody saying,
yes, that happens a little bit later, but we can talk about that now.
Like, I don't consider myself married to her, and she can marry someone else if she wants to. And Mary kind of has to say, well, yeah, like that's the situation. And Cody initiated it. I can't remember if she actually admitted that they were divorced. Although I think it's interesting that Cody can declare himself divorced from Mary, but Christine can't declare herself divorced from him.
We get into this in a little bit because they get into a segment which I found really boring, which is what does it mean to divorce and pulling, you know,
in this made up church
whole thing, right? But so then we get to Robin. So Robin, of course, is like, I wouldn't let it get to this point. You know, I would make Cody talk to me. I wouldn't allow Cody not to talk to me. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, Robin, because he's right there.
And you have his ear on everything. Yeah.
But the other part, and that's part of the thing, is that all of this advice, all of these things that people are throwing out that Christine should be doing according to everybody else, it's a little bit of like, okay, so if you have a partner and you rarely see him and he's popping over to your house randomly once every 4 days, right? Like, what are you supposed to do? You have a choice. You can either make it pleasant and be nice and be happy that he's there, or you can pick a fight about it. And I think that that's where she was like, he's so shocked and about all of these things, but it's like, no, you've been absent, and she's been trying to figure out how to live her life without you this whole time. And you just, I don't know.
Well, yeah, and he makes no sense, but yeah, and Christine said that in an earlier episode. She said, we had so little time together. He spent so little time here. I wanted him to spend time with the kids. So what am I going to do? On the rare times when he's here for a few hours, I'm going to fight with him? Mm-hmm. No, I don't want to fight with him in front of the kids and hopefully spend some time with them. And she's just in an impossible situation.
Yeah. I think that Robin, that's the whole thing. So essentially when you kiss Cody's ass and you comply, he's attracted to you.
Exactly.
So if you want Cody to be attracted to you, kiss his ass.
Well, that's the thing. He's tried in the past seasons to make himself look like, I'm a polygamist, but I'm an enlightened polygamist.
Yes.
My wives have a choice, and he would use language like, I'm a leader and I lead this family. Now he's just cutting to the chase, and he's basically saying, this is a patriarchy and I am in control. And if you don't, he even said the words, bend to my will or something along those.
My will. You need to bend to my will. Yeah.
And then you're out. Mm-hmm. Then forget you. You're not getting anything from me if you're not loyal, all this stuff. And it's like, wow. I mean, what woman is wants that? I guess Robin does.
I'll tell you what woman, Robin, and potentially Aurora. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I know that's a whole other thing.
Gross.
But so this is really interesting, I thought, because we all know, if you've been watching the show, right, one of the catalysts for Christine to really be like, I'm out, was Cody telling her, I don't want to have an intimate marriage with you. I don't have sex anymore. Right. And what's so interesting about this, he's mad. Cody's mad because he feels like she should have held on to the marriage. And basically he was telling Sukanya that, lots of people do this. Lots of people hold on for the marriages. People, stay because of the kids, right? Basically saying there are a lot of people in sexless marriages. That's what he's saying to Sukanya. Like, because Christine wants out of this marriage, and this is going to break up this whole family, she should
just live that way.
She should just live that way. And I'm thinking to myself, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, you're getting laid. Sex.
You're getting laid, Cody. You are. I'm sorry, mom who's listening. You're getting laid, Cody. You have a wife. You get sex. You get all that. So Christine should live the rest of her life without not even sex, without someone being attracted to her, to loving her.
Companionship.
Telling her she's beautiful, telling her she's a wonderful human being, and holding her goddamn hand. Like, she is supposed to spend the rest of her life without any of that. So it's easier for you. Yeah. Like, that is the part that I was just like, that just pissed me off.
It was awful.
Yes. Okay. So then we see the clip of where Christine tells everyone she's leaving, and Robin's very, very upset. And then Cody makes his declaration, I'm going to be the head of my household. And so Robin's upset because Christine has robbed Robin of growing old together. Robin wanted to have this supportive relationship with her sister wives, and she envisioned all of them, the four of them together, growing old together,
being grandmas,
and Christina's robbed
her of that.
Robbed Robin of that.
You know what, Robin? Just go make a friend. Like the rest of us do. Mm-hmm. The rest of us want that kind of a relationship. We go out and we make a friend.
Yeah.
Or if you have any existing friends, maybe you can foster like a deeper relationship with them.
Yeah.
You can't just say to someone, well, we're sister wives, so you have to do this with me. Mm-hmm. And she always brings it back to herself. She always brings it back to, you've ruined my dreams.
Yes. I have lots of dreams, and you've crushed I shouldn't want them like that. It's just like, oh, Robin, get better dreams, honey.
Yeah, think bigger.
So then Cody says something that I think was real problematic, which is he starts to get defensive in his interview, and he starts to say, well, these women, they came up to me like, begging me, like basically doing
He did like dogs.
Like a dog.
Yeah.
Like these women who are like dogs begged him, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, and agreed to be loyal. But now they are not. And it's a little bit of like, hold on, Cody. No, you met Mary. The two of you were into this lifestyle. You decided to do it. Mary found Janelle, right? Like, I'm sorry, these women weren't. Maybe Christine was pick me.
Yeah.
But nobody else was. Nobody else was. But that pissed me off.
Yeah, he talked about them throughout this entire show, like they were property, like his property, like they were just supposed to be obedient animals, or
yes.
I mean the way he just, it was really creepy.
But then it sort of raises this question, and I think this is one of been, if you watch any or read anything about Sister Wives, or if you're on some Facebook group and you're following it, this is, of course, the question is, did Cody set out to only be with Robin, or did it move that way? Was it inevitable? I think they sort of touch on that a little bit. Well, did the way in which all of this came about, like, did Cody see Robin and consciously or unconsciously decide, I don't think I want plural marriage, I just want this one woman? And so he kind of made it that way. That was what's in my notes. And I feel like I got to remember why I write these notes down sometimes, because like I felt like this was a question they were starting to touch upon that then they sort of veered off of, which is, how did we get to here? Is it inevitable? If your whole idea was about women bending to your will, and Robin is the only one that's bending to your will, and you have these three other women that are independent women, and you say you've been championing them this whole time. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how did we get here, Cody? Like, I don't even know how I've gotten on this train of thought.
I kind of think that maybe the women changed, and Christine and Janelle, I think, definitely
I think
evolved.
Yes.
Mary, not so much, because she's still, even though they're basically divorced, if he came to her, she'd take him back in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah, we learned that.
So I think Christine and Janelle evolved out of this lifestyle. I think that Cody thought, because Cody always gets his way, and I think he thought that, I can have my cake and eat it too. I can have this fourth wife who I'm really into, and I can also keep these other wives, because he didn't want to break up his family. Yeah. He wanted to keep this family together.
And he still wants a lot of kids.
Right. He still wants kids. He wants to have access to his kids. I guess, I'm assuming he believes in the celestial kingdom, religious part of it. I just think he thought that he could get away with it. And, after a while, like, two of them just broke.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then and so Janelle says something very interesting, which is, Janelle, of course, is like, no, that's not what I signed up for. She was like, I did not sign up for patriarchy. I did not sign up for bending to your will. You got to be kidding. She says, I was signed up for working together as a team to raise a family. That's what I signed up for. And Sukanya asks her, what is it that you really want? And she's like, I want a husband to see my perspective as much as he sees Robin's. And I thought, like, thank you, Janelle. Finally, someone is speaking the truth, that Robin has his ear. And even so, I think a lot of people see Robin as being diabolical. And I don't know. I just don't think that that's who she is. I think that because he is so attracted to Robin and likes her so much, and has this attraction to her, that what she says, even if she says it in passing, like, oh God, Janelle's just bothering me today, or whatever. She says this random thing in passing that I think that perks, Cody's ears up, and being like, oh, Janelle's not being nice to Robin.
Yeah, it amplifies it. Yeah.
And amplifies it. So when I think about why Christine and Robin aren't closer, I think it's for many reasons. I think they're two different people, but I also think Cody spoils the well. I think he, as we talked about in the last episode, Janelle says that
he's a blabbermouth.
He's a blabbermouth. He's like a sieve. He cannot keep a secret. He cannot keep anything in. So I think that every time someone does something and Robin complains about it, that they go back and talk to them about it.
Yeah, I feel like he's talking about all of them behind their backs and pitting everybody against each other, and even the adult children too.
Yes, I agree.
Now he does the same with them because some of them have relationships with him and some of them don't. And
yeah. Well, and again, if anyone says anything negative about him or challenges him in any way, they're out. What does this sound like?
Dictatorship.
Yes. And a little Trumpian, isn't it? If you love Trump, then I'm sorry. You're probably at the wrong podcast.
I feel like we say that at least once every podcast at some point.
Trump. Okay, so then we get into the section that I didn't really write much down about, which is what does divorce mean in this celestial world? And it's really stupid because really the thing is
made up.
Yeah, because Christine's like, well, when I moved all his crap out, he was divorced. I felt divorced. I'm sure she did.
Yeah, that was a clear message.
I felt divorced. And then Robin's like, well, you need to go to the elders and, get permission from them. And that's Robin's take. And then, it's just this whole thing about what does it mean? And I guess Christine has left the faith. So that's the other thing too, which is, this whole idea of why you're doing this to get to the celestial kingdom to be.
It's a moot point.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And Janelle says, why should Christine have to abide by something she doesn't even believe in?
Yeah.
Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like, and that's what really irritated me about the beginning of the season was just how much Cody was just like, what are you doing? What's happening? It's like, Cody, she has the right to leave you. Yeah. She has the right to pack up your stuff. And he used to
always emphasize that. Nobody's a prisoner here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's said that dozens of times over the last 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And turns out that's not really how he feels.
No, it's not how he feels. It's what he says to... there's the Cody who he really is, and then there's the Cody that he shows on screen. And then I think there's a much darker Cody, lurking out there somewhere. But then we get into this is the section where Mary sees the clip, obviously not for the first time, because I'm sure she saw it on the show. But Mary sees the famous clip where Cody says, oh, I don't care about Mary.
Right.
Mary can go. And of course, it shows Cody's hypocrisy because he's, real fine with telling Mary via a TV show that she's out. But he's, freaking out about Christine. And God, did you hear this one thing where apparently Mary called him on their last anniversary and Cody's like, why are you calling me?
Why are you calling me?
It was like, oh my God. So either and I don't know which one it is. Is Mary an idiot? Is Mary not getting hit? Has he said to her a million times, I don't want to be married to you. I don't want to be married to you. Like, I'm done. And she's not getting it? Or is he just not telling her things and he's feeding her one line and I don't know.
I don't know either. But either way, even if he is telling her things, his actions are completely different. Yeah. So obviously actions speak louder than words. So there's no excuse for her to be putting up with this.
Well, okay, so yeah. So then the other thing that happens that she reveals is she then said, well, if we're not going to be together, then let's talk about it publicly. And he's like, no, I don't want to do it publicly. That's what he told her. Yeah. That's what Mary says. I don't want to do this publicly.
He's like, I don't want the judgment.
Yes. But you've already just... We're here.
We're watching the show. Like, we can see you're not together. You don't need to make a statement. You've made your statement. Hello.
But I thought, what I thought was so interesting, because Mary keeps everything really close to the vest, right? So I thought it was so interesting. You're watching Mary, and I feel like Mary might have gotten a little bit of, Botox. I feel like her face looks a little different. I think she finally invested in some Botox.
Oh, well, good.
So I think she got so her face looks slightly different.
It looks
the makeup's a little bit better.
I think it was the makeup. For a while in those confessionals, she was wearing this makeup that just made her skin look horrible.
It was so heavy.
And she looked kind of orangish, and she looked like her skin was ruddy and bad. So she's made a change there,
well, and she used to do the eyeliner above and below the eye. So she had those raccoon eyes that really aren't very flattering.
She lightened up the makeup, and so did Robin.
Yes,
Robin
Robin's
lightened
eyebrows
up on the eyebrow pencil.
Thank God.
I know, she clearly watched the last season and said, "Oh,
that's bad." Well, so this is a really interesting moment where Sukanya says, did you know that Cody was thinking about a reconciliation? And you get this look on Mary's face, where you kind of see this thing of like just joy and happiness, like mixed joy and happiness.
What?
Like, ooh, he wants to wreck. But she's not she didn't change her facial expressions. Like if you just kind of glanced, you wouldn't notice. But if you really intently looked at her like I did, I was like looking to see the reaction. It was like, oh, she glimmered a little.
She did.
She was happy. And then of course the big gift were Rice Krispie treats, which, okay.
But she also said that same day that he got excited about the Rice Krispie treats, which I guess was supposed to be the same day he decided, maybe I could reconcile.
Yeah.
Then she says, well, earlier that day, and they show the clip of it.
Yeah.
Where
she gives him the thing. She's such an asshole in that clip.
Well, no, when they're riding in the car together.
Yeah, that one too.
Yeah. And he's saying, or she's saying, I've been waiting for you. And he's like, well, I'm not coming. And she says, well, I know you aren't. And she said that after she turned the camera off, she said, well, what would you do if I kissed you right now? And he got all tense and it was like, no. So what is it with... Yeah, so it really makes you even doubt the validity of the story that he was thinking about reconciling with her. Because, well, then why did you act that way just the day before or that day? I mean, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I would, and that was pretty much the end of the episode. I mean,
I feel like he's making that up.
He is. So I was expecting in this episode to get Christine's reaction. Like, let's go back to Christine and check it out, and let's find out what the truth is. And we're going to see Christine's reactions next episode. So for the next tell-all, we'll see what Christine has to say. We see a little bit of it where she says, oh, that's ridiculous. That's insane. But I think that, in all of these stories, the truth is somewhere in the middle. So I would assume, I think what happened was that he got the Rice Krispies, which he wasn't even that excited about in the moment. You saw him like, these are good. And maybe he and Mary had a good time. Or maybe he had, I think maybe he had a couple drinks and he got a little misty-eyed and he's like, oh, ladies, maybe I'll reconcile with Mary. And I think that in that moment, Christine might have been a little bit like, not because of not having anything to do with her, but maybe a little bit of like, how can you keep jerking this woman around?
Well, now,
and being mad.
Now I'm kind of remembering, I've seen so many clips, I get confused, but now I'm sort of remembering Christine addressing that and saying something along the lines of, like, why would you get back together with Mary when you and I don't even have a functional relationship and you're not even willing to work on our relationship? Is that something that was a preview?
Maybe, but that makes a lot of sense. And that, if I was Christine, that's something that I would be pissed about.
Yeah.
And I might not be yelling or storm. I mean, I doubt Christine was yelling, but I think she probably felt like, wait a second.
Wait a minute.
We've been trying to work on our relationship for years. Cause like I said, I'm in season 9 at the beginning of season 9, and they just went on an anniversary trip with 2 therapists.
Oh yeah. What a fun time.
Yeah. So they took 2 therapists with them to a trip to Galveston, Texas. So this is you 12 seasons. Wait, no, sorry. We're at 17, 8 seasons ago. So 8 seasons ago, the 2 of you were taking couples counselors with you to your anniversary trips. And I can imagine if then you hear this from Cody, you must be thinking, you've got to be kidding me here.
Yeah, you know what? It could be a variety of things. He could have just been saying that to fuck with them, to see what their response was. I don't think he meant it because Mary tried to leave him, that whole catfish thing and whatever.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that yet. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's been so many years that he's just been pretty much done with her. I don't know. This is a very strange story.
I know. The catfish thing, I can't wait till we get to that. But I think that bruised Cody's ego so deeply, like, oh my God, how could Mary not want to hang around? And I don't think he was having sex with Mary too. Again,
right.
I don't blame Mary. Listen, I've known a lot of married couples where they're not having sex, they're not happy, and the man goes off and finds somebody else and starts, having an affair and runs off with that person. And so, Cody, if the roles were reversed, you would have wanted to go out and meet someone else and have
Right.
a relationship.
There was a reason she was online chatting with
Yes,
people.
there was a yes. So
She was,
she was
looking for some
love.
or just even looking for a connection,
Yeah.
something, and then it kind of got out of hand. But
Yeah. So anyway,
Oh,
that's
boy.
the end of the episode. Whew, that's just one of the three. And I have to say, I like it that they've separated them. I think it gets juicier. And I
Yeah.
like that Christine and Janelle are fed up and they're starting to speak the truth. And let's see. I mean, even Mary and Robin are being a little bit more open and honest. I don't know. We'll see. Cody's the only he's the most delusional.
as always,
Yes.
as per usual.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Well, so
That's
that's a wrap. That's the first
tell-all.
tell-all. So thank you so much for joining us today. If you like this podcast, please give us a 5-star review and write some kind words about how much you enjoyed it. We have
Tell a friend.
Yes,
who
tell
also
a
likes
friend.
Sister Wives.
Yes. Tell a friend. Please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. We need those down. We love the downloads.
Yeah.
And what else? We have an email address, psychlegalpoppodcast@gmail.com. If you have any ideas or things that you want to cover, or even if you have feelings about the sister, too much Sister Wives, not enough Sister Wives, what do you think? We're experimenting a little bit right now and would love to get your feedback. All right. I guess that's it.
That's it.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellows wherever you get your podcasts.